Some people are going to be offended. There is nothing I can do about it. This is just the truth. I got to speak the truth when I see it. And we also have a special treat for you, for those who stay to the end. My stepmother, Jennifer Wing, is going to be watching this video live with us now, just like you are. She's in the comments section now. You can go ahead and say hi to her. When we're all said and done, we're going to get her on the line and we're going to get her feedback. We're going to get her input on what she witnessed here. And the reason for that is she is a former canine handler. Spent several years. She'll tell you more details. I don't have the details right in front of me, but she worked a dog on the streets of the city of Miami. She tracked down bad guys. She bit bad guys. She's been in more chases than probably any police car chases than probably any police officer I know of or that anybody knows of. She was known as the car chaser. She can bring her opinion on it as a female police officer. It's not easy being a police officer in general. Add in the fact that you're a female, sometimes chasing after real bad guys, men that are bigger than you, potentially stronger than you, you name it. I'm bringing her in because you all are going to say I'm sexist. That is not the case. I would be breaking this down just as much if this was a male doing a male handler. In fact, I'd probably be even harder on him. This has nothing to do with the fact this is a female handler. I don't care what she is. In this day and age, it's a he, him, she, zim, that. It has nothing to do with gender. This has to do with an abysmal, embarrassing police canine tactics. You are not going to believe what's about to go down. This is that you cannot believe. It looks fake. It looks staged. It's like we said before, actually, we said this yesterday, truth is stranger than fiction. You cannot, if I was developing a script of like a comical deployment of a police dog, I couldn't come up with the hysterical ridiculousness that you're about to see in this video. So again, Homerville PD, I think it's about 2021, you're going to have two guys, a white male driver, black male passenger. We would call that a salt and pepper team. All right, it's not a racist thing, but when you're driving around in some rough neighborhoods in the hood, whether this offends you or not, sometimes we'd call that out on the radio or relay it like, hey, something doesn't look right here. We got a couple of suspicious looking dudes. Something doesn't fit right. So it's a salt and pepper team. And guess what? They know the driver. He's been arrested many, many times before. He's known literally on a first name basis. And he's driving around in a stolen vehicle with, I think, an attached trailer of some lawn equipment that's also stolen. The officers are told, hey, come into the area because they got a 911 call or several 911 calls about a suspicious vehicle. Meaning this salt and pepper team is so suspicious looking that even regular everyday civilians are like, something's not right with these boys. They're here to do something wrong. Why? Drugs, baby. Drugs. These guys are drug addicts. How do these drug addicts fuel their $100, $150, $200 a day of spend on dope? Well, they don't have a regular 9-to-5 job. They got to steal, rob, etc. And that's exactly what we got here. We got a couple of car thieves and who knows what else they're into. When this video picks up, it's going to be 99% of the camera, if not 100% of the camera angle is taken from the female officer. I don't even know what her name is. It almost doesn't matter. It's going to pick up while she's already in a pursuit of this vehicle, meaning they find the suspicious vehicle, they go to get behind it, and it's off to the races. Now it's her from Homerville PD. Again, super small podunk agency. How small? You have the chief and you have 4 or 5 officers underneath it. There's not even a captain, major, lieutenant, sergeant. It's chief, 5 officers. That's it. Super small agency. I think that's enough background for you. How are we doing on numbers, by the way?
Right now we got 230.
Perfect. Y'all are going to love this. And that's it. A little background. Let's jump back in. This is, by the way, shout out, I guess, to Vigilant Cam. He was able to find this. He's got a channel. You want to check him out? Great. Unfortunately, got that watermark the whole time. We'll get over it. We'll be fine. I'm going to listen in too so we can hear what you're doing. Bear with me. This is, I don't know how else to explain this. We're going to have to stop and pause a few times to break down the ridiculousness that you're about to see. And then I know I'm talking in circles here, but when this is all said and done, I'm going to get my stepmother, Jennifer, on the line, who's now retired. And I'm going to get her opinion. She's watching live with you all right now. Anybody say hi to her yet? If you haven't, now's the time. Say, hey, Jen. And she's going to give her opinion. You can hear it from her. But I'm going to be giving you my opinion along the way. All right, without further ado, put your seatbelts on. Let's get into it. Let me make sure the settings are as high as they can go. Yes, they are.
On
Little
Sunday,
preview here.
August 29th, 2021, an officer-involved shooting unfolded in Homerville, Georgia. Responding to a 911 call about suspicious persons in a vehicle, a traffic stop was initiated. Tracy Allen Guess, 50, was driving, and Samuel Reginald Thornton, 42, was the passenger. The situation took an unexpected turn when Guess drove away from the scene.
Turn my body camera on. I think he's trying to piddle. Oh, God. Hold on a minute. I'm going to have to call you back. Oh! We still down Frank Systems. Be careful, Austin.
We're headed towards Cocktail Highway.
Dang. Or 1080. Yeah.
If he bails out, just tell him if they get ready to stop. Tell him to stay in the vehicle. Don't run into the vehicle. Let that dog go.
All right, we're going to pause it here. When I first watched this for the first time, this is when I realized something is very wrong. She's in pursuit. She's on a phone call to begin with. The last thing you want to be doing is talking on the phone while you're in a pursuit. She's also advising on the radio. She hangs up with the first person. Great. I'm like, oh, we're good. No, she hangs up so that she can call, guess who? The chief of police. Now, we did a little background on this. The chief of police at this time is her boyfriend. And I got to give you a little bit more background. He has a background in canine, minimal. This agency does not, I'll save it for later. I don't want to ruin this for you. But she's calling the chief of police while she's in the middle of a pursuit to ask for his help on what to do in the middle of a police chase. That's not the time to be asking what your job is. You got to be focused on the task at hand. You got to be telling the dispatcher and fellow responding officers where you are and what's going on. It's hard to do that when you're taking advice on your cell phone from your boyfriend / chief of police. And if you listen to him carefully, we might rewind a minute. He says, basically, be careful. When they stop and they get out, don't get out. Make sure you send the dog on them. Make sure the dog has good target acquisition. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Let's listen in and see what he says.
Yeah.
If he bails out, just tell him if they get ready to stop. Tell him to stay in the vehicle. Don't run into the vehicle. Let that dog go. Just lock the door and let him go. And just call him Austin. Make sure he targets that person.
He's done hit Austin and he's trying to hit me. Oh, God. He's hitting Austin again. Oh, shit!
Your location.
1050. Get out! Get the fuck out and get down! I'm not with you. Get on the fucking ground! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground on your fucking stomach right now!
The guy already has handcuffs on in the front.
I'm not fucking with you.
I ain't did nothing.
Get on the fucking ground, Tracy! Get on the
I like how many
fucking
times
ground.
she's telling him to get on the ground, even though he's been there for the last minute.
I didn't even realize that. Are you mic'd up so they can
Yeah,
hear you?
yeah,
We got
I can hear
Spider behind the cameras. She's yelling at him to get on the ground. He's already on the ground.
Yeah, he's like,
How does he
rolling
got
around
handcuffs on the front already? How did this even happen?
He
My
knew.
assumption is the other officer did, or he's already an escapee. I don't quite understand what's going on here. And then now she's yelling to Tracy. She knows Tracy. She goes, oh, look, it's Tracy again. Such and such meth head or crackhead from down the road, the driver. But all right, yeah, let's listen to the get on the grounds. Now, there is something I want to pay attention to. Maybe y'all in the comments. I need your all's help on this one. I need a counter. I need someone who can count and keep track. Later in this video, she is going to do something similar that you see here, except instead of saying get on the ground 15 times, she is going to tell the driver, you all need to count for me. I don't know how many times she's going to tell him that she's going to shoot him. I'm talking 30, 50, 100 times. She says it a lot. I'm going to say 45. Take a guess.
I'm going to say under 30.
Under 30, I'm going, I'll go the over. 30 and under, I'm going 30 and over. Y'all got to count. Someone keep track as we play this out. She's going to say, I'm going to shoot you, Tracy. I don't know how many times. All right, let's play it again. And I want you to pay attention to something because this comes into play later. She's gripping the gun. This is how you're supposed to grip the gun. However, what's very scary is she has her finger on the trigger. You're not supposed to have your finger on the trigger ever unless you are ready to pull the trigger. for a number of reasons. She does this many times throughout this ordeal, and we'll try to point those out to you as well.
I'm not fucking with you.
I ain't did nothing.
Get on the fucking ground, Tracy. Get on the fucking ground. If you try running, I swear to fucking God. I swear to fucking God.
Let me get on the glass over here, man.
Get on the fucking ground. If you move, you're gonna get it too. You understand?
Hey, bring me your coats. You don't put my stuff in.
I didn't mean to, man.
Don't you fucking run. I'll let my dog out. Stay the fuck down.
Stay the fuck down. I got the dookie, y'all.
Stay the fuck down.
I got the dookie, man.
Okay? Get it a fucking again. Get it a fucking again.
Pepper spraying him. Taser. Doesn't work this time. And now we're off to the races.
Go ahead and try. Go ahead and try. Get the fuck on the ground. Get the fuck on the ground.
Let's pause here and catch up. The driver's now taken off. She lets her dog out, no equipment on. Sends the dog after, I don't know who, the driver, but the driver is also being pursued by her backup, an officer from the sheriff's department. And we did notice, he said he didn't have any more cuffs. So he must be the guy that very quickly after that crash cuffed up the passenger, which is whatever. I don't know why he did that, but, you know, fine, put cuffs on when you can. Typically put them on in the back. So she sends her dog and then realizes, oh yeah, I forgot about the black dude I left in handcuffs on the ground, which, by the way, is a very juicy target for a police dog. Not because he's black, because any bad guy that's on the ground laying prone is just like, it's like the dogs know, oh, I bite that. They know that. So super risky for her to bring that dog out. And now let's get back into the action, because now her dog went that way and she's got the passenger in handcuffs this way. And what do? I don't know. Let's find out what she does.
We got a lot of questions about her pink cuffs.
Pink cuffs. A lot of female police officers, even male police officers, will roll around with pink handcuffs because I guess it's embarrassing when you're a tough bad guy and you end up going to jail with pink handcuffs on. But it's not atypical. All right, so the dog came back, I guess, because the dog... This is an undercurring theme. Is that the right word I'm looking for? This is the theme throughout this whole video. Super cute dog. Really nice temperament. Has no idea what it's doing. It thinks it's out here playing fetch. It thinks it's out on a stroll through the park. This dog has no idea what's going on.
Come get in this car now. Get in. Up. Up.
Phone's ringing. Must be the chief calling her back.
If you don't get in this fucking car right now, I'm about to beat your ass. Get in the fucking car.
This is so wrong. I've never seen a police officer put their police dog in the front seat of the car. I don't know, why is she doing that? Now she draws her gun on a handcuffed subject and is threatening, I don't know what, to shoot him or kill him if he doesn't walk over. You can't do that either.
Get in the fucking car.
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't trying to do nothing. It ain't nowhere to sit in here.
Get the fuck in. Take this shit off.
Yes, ma'am. I don't got nothing. My money and stuff in there.
Don't you reach for shit.
I'm not, ma'am. You ain't see me resist.
She has not been back on the radio since this went down. None of her people know where she is. Her backup is off in the woods chasing this guy that's already been tasered and pepper sprayed. I don't even know if she has a radio on her because I don't hear any transmissions coming through. This is very dangerous. That means you heard there was a chase, you heard there was a crash, you're responding, and right now it's car 51, where are you? Because nobody knows where she is or what's going on. And even the chief's calling on the phone like, can you answer the radio? Let's get back to it.
My money. I ain't did nothing. You treating me like I did something.
Get in there.
My money
Get
and
in
stuff.
there and I will-
Get my money and stuff. Please.
Try me.
I'm not
Get in the
trying.
car.
I'm not trying you.
And yes, you saw it correctly. She stuffed him in the back of her police cruiser which is it's a canine car. That's a cage for a dog. That's not where you stuff prisoners. I've never stuffed a prisoner. Never have I seen someone put a detainee or a prisoner, someone in handcuffs, in a police car in the back where the cage is, the dog cage is, let alone handcuffed in the front. This will come back to haunt her later. Watch and see. And that is the world's crappiest pat down / search I've ever seen. She like half pat him down, pulled some stuff out of his... That guy could have a gun on him all day. He could have a knife. He could have handcuff keys. I don't know, but you just can't stuff a prisoner, and he's still handcuffed in the front. This is just a recipe for disaster. Now, I don't know what she's doing now. She's in the back seat. The police dog's still in the front seat, I think. And now she's, I don't know, back in the foot chase. If you all see something else that's just atrocious, be sure to point it out.
Where's he at? Give me this. Where's he at? Are you good? Here, use my shirt. We have one in custody, the other one's running on foot. It's any mess. Let me get the dog. We got one in custody. The other one's running and very combative. Taser's been deployed twice, no effect. Shut up.
We are, I don't know, what is this, like 15, 20 minutes into this, 10 minutes? I have no idea. This is much, much later. And it's like now she's finally getting on the radio. Okay, great. Now she's finally on the radio. Her partner there, the backup, you heard him say, like, I can't see. He's dealing with that extra pepper spray. Remember, he pepper sprayed him, and now he's feeling the effects of that. I've been pepper sprayed. It sucks. It's not a great place to be, but you got to work through it. So now she gets... We got to name this dog. Can someone come up with a great name for this dog? I don't know. Later on, she'll name it. But here he is, the pooch, running around, having the time of his life. Again, back out, off leash, and let's see her handling skills.
You get my money, please.
You can have jewelry. Come on. I got mine.
Can you get my money, ma'am?
There's her tracking harness.
The best thing for you to do
In
is
the bottom
just shut
right.
up.
Why I got to be quiet?
I don't even know what she went in the back for because she didn't grab anything. She should have put that harness on and grabbed her 15 or 30-foot tracking line. She hooks a 6-foot up to a flat collar. That's not typically how you go tracking for a bad guy.
We're right here at 3231. I don't know the road. It's mile 16.
We'll pause there. We're in front of 3231. I don't know what road it is, but that doesn't help you. Here, folks, if you like what you see, please do me a favor. Send us mail to the following address, 721. I don't know what road it is. Just maybe you can find it. Can you imagine you're on the radio like, oh, I'm in front of a 321. 321, what? What is she doing with the dog? Oh, he's having a great time.
We're right here by the fire tower in Cogdale. 3231. I don't know the road.
Should have known what road she was on during the middle of the pursuit. Ain't nothing to knock on a door. I've had to do that before on a dog bite once. We got crazy chase, bail out, we're biting the guy. Same thing, knew what address it was, and I had to knock on the door and say, like, what street is this? Because they can't find us. It happens, but she had that opportunity. Now she's out searching with the gun in her hand. It's not really how you do this. Very atypical you would do that. She's got no backup. She could stop and wait for people to come. Of course, nobody's coming because nobody knows where she is. This is crazy, man. You got to pay attention to the clock up there. I don't remember how this started. Let me see if I can rewind just a little bit. But it'll tell you it's worth going back. 10:36 it started, and now we are way up here. Let's go forward right about here. So we're 9 minutes in, coming on 10 minutes in. Nobody knows where she is, and she's just, what's the rush? You don't need to rush these tracks. That's what the dog is there for. It'll tell you where the guy went. That big fat, I was going to curse, the fat dude that bailed out of the driver, he ain't going far. Where's he going? He's no Olympian. This is not a marathon runner. He's going to make it a quarter mile and duck down. He's not going nowhere. So no rush. All right, let's get back into it. Any other comments? Anything anybody want to jump in with anything?
Yeah, they're saying the dog's name is Taylor.
Taylor?
She keeps saying Taylor's been deployed twice.
All right, let's go.
She doesn't know where she's at because she doesn't have her phone for GPS.
Yeah, because she left it in the car. Maybe if she had her phone, she could call the chief, and maybe she could send a little iPhone ping. You can tell her where she's at. Tracking by herself on a 6-foot line, super goddamn dangerous. So dangerous. Let's pause and talk about why, or maybe y'all can fill in the gap. Why is that dangerous? Because by the time she encounters this guy, she's 6 feet away from him. You can't be walking over fallen logs and branches and holes in the ground and this craziness with your gun out. It's this is just asinine. She's going to shoot her dog. She keeps flagging her dog. And I promise you, her finger's on and off the trigger. Why? Because you'll just see it later how many times you see her have her gun out with the finger on the trigger. You practice drawing, you can, yes, there is a time that you might have the dog out and the gun out at the same time, but it's like when you know your danger close, and there's a rare circumstances you would do that. This is what backups are for. The backups are supposed to be behind you with their guns out so you can focus on the dog. This is it's just hard to watch. Now she's got the dog in her gun hand. You never do that either.
I got him, Austin. I'm gonna let this dog go. You better get on the ground.
If there was a time to maybe have your gun out, if you got eye contact with them, okay, maybe now switch the leash to your left hand, have your gun hand free, now pull your gun out. Now would be the time, but now she can't do that either. Threatens to let the dog go. If you were going to let the dog go, you coulda, shoulda, woulda done that already. Not advising on the radio.
10-9.
9 is no. Telling the dog no.
9.
Dog don't listen.
Push.
I don't even know. Now she's telling it to heel. Boost, recall, heel.
No.
And now we teach this, right? And I'm super passionate about this. We teach a class, tactical tracking class, call it high risk tactical tracking for armed and violent offenders. I would call this guy a violent offender. We don't know if he's armed or not. If she gets shot right now, if she even twists her ankle, if she gets bit by a rattlesnake, if she faints from heat stroke, if she gets in a firefight, you remember how she didn't know where she was when she first went in to the house because she didn't even know what street she was on? How in the world will she ever be able to tell anybody where she is right now? What do you, past the first pine tree, hang a left, over the moat, on my way to grandmother's house we go? She's in the woods, behind, nowhere. She doesn't even have a great starting point, so she can't even say, like, this is just scary. And I still think she's by herself, or maybe that backup officer, remember the one with the pepper spray in his face, who's, you know, not probably optimal, is still trying to find his way to her. And again, hasn't got back on the radio yet. Hasn't told anybody that she's getting close to the guy. And they still probably don't know where she is. This is just horrible. Where's your dog? There he is.
He went in this red barn over here. I don't know where it is.
If that dog was worth a damn, he would have already been on that guy and bit him, especially if she had eye contact with him, which I guess she did because she's saying she knows where he went.
Back here to this big red storage shed.
She's not on the radio talking because I can see her hand. She's just talking to her backup. Now her backup somehow is in front of her. Very atypical when you're on a canine track to have your backup in front of you. You put the dog first. That's so the dog... There's so many reasons why you do that. It's just, this doesn't make any sense. Why do you even have the dog? Got her gun out again. Is that the guy right there in front of her? I mean, that's her backup, but I think right in front of the backup is... He's right there.
I'm not...
There he is.
Get on the ground and put these handcuffs on. Can't breathe.
She's absolutely gassed.
Super intense police chase.
What?
Super intense, the police chase. They're just, you can see that they're getting at him super hard.
Are you joking?
Yeah. He's just walking to everything.
She's cooked, man. I mean, this is
walking briskly.
You need to have. You just got to, for things like this. You have to have better physical conditioning. I get it, man, but like, really, she's just been walking. You can't be this gassed yet. You can't be. And now that they're finally making contact, now she wants to take a break. She's going to pause and take a break while her backup is 5 feet away from going hands-on with this guy. Again, I don't think she's got back on the radio yet. You have to excuse me. I'm getting over a really nasty flu or cold, and so my throat's all jacked up. So I'm going to pause and take some drinks, but I'm going to back up just a touch. But remember, she's threatened, I don't know how many times now, to let her dog go. We should do a count for that too. Well, if there was a time to let the dog go, now would be the time. But again, it's a little hairy because your backup is now in front of you, been in front of you. So it gets a little hairy because some of these real hard police dogs, which this dog is far from that. I'm not saying this dog, by the way, is a bad dog. It could be a great dog. This dog is significantly undertrained and underprepared for this whole encounter, as is this officer. It is scary, her lack of training and experience. I mean, I don't know how long she's been on the job. 3 days? It's really... when I first watched this, I was telling my wife, Stephanie, about it, and she was like listening to me laughing. She's like, what is so funny? And when it was all said and done, I said, look, for me to describe to you how poorly the performance that this officer did, and this is no talking smack about Stephanie, but Stephanie's a sweetheart. She has no police training, never been to the police academy. I told her, you as a civilian, pretty much anybody that's watching this right now, if I gave you a gun and a badge, you probably would have done a better job than this officer did. No exaggeration. Anybody could have done better than this. This is just horrible. All right, but let's back it up just a touch and see this point here where we take a little break. Look how close we are. Let's handle business.
And put these handcuffs on. Can't breathe.
She said, I can't breathe.
Can't breathe.
Get on the radio. Say anything. We're behind a blue house.
Chin. Look.
The most important thing you should say on the radio, if you only have 3 seconds to transmit anything, well, let's pause here, is where you are. Because you can scream on the radio and say, shots fired. You can scream on the radio and say, I'm getting shot at. I've been shot. I've been in a car crash. That's not going to help anybody locate where you are and find you and help you. It's not. If the only thing you can get on the radio and yell and scream is, 321 Chester Street, 321 Chester Street, help will come your way. That's the only way help will come your way. She's got another opportunity right now. If I was that lost, you got to put pride to the side. I'll be banging on that door saying, where the hell are we? I'll go in the mailbox. I will look at the mail. You look at the freaking address on the front. You got to figure it out. Nobody can help you if they don't know where you are. And now here we are. Remember, this started at 10:36. We're at 10:52. Someone do the math. We're 14-ish minutes in. 15, 16? I don't know. We're ways in. 16 minutes in. And no one's there to help them yet. It's crazy. And I think now she's telling the backup to get out of the way because she's going to release the Kraken on his ass. Get ready. We're about to see what this dog is capable of.
Austin, step out of the way. You ready? You ready? You ready?
You never send your dog with a leash on. That's how dogs can get strangled to death.
Get the down. Right now. Get the down. Try me, and you're gonna fucking regret it.
Dog's
Try
thirsty.
me.
He's going to take a drink real
Tracy,
quick.
if you want to die today, that's on you. Get the fuck down.
Get down. Go. Get down.
Yo, please just put it on front. I'm stopping.
If you guys
Get
are not
down.
This ain't how it works.
rolling out of your chairs right now at the fact that she just deployed her police dog and it's now drinking water out of the little creek in the front, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, put your dog up in the car and like just I don't know what to tell you. This is embarrassing. Oh, like, what did the backup even have to get out of the way for? This dog was never going to do anything. It had plenty of opportunity to do things out in the woods. This dog is not ready for this deployment. We see this a lot, unfortunately. This is particularly bad. I think for just a split second, the dog kind of has an idea what's going on. It ran up. This guy had his water boots in his hand, and the dog maybe for a second thought about, is that a sleeve? Should I bite the sleeve? Problem is the guy's not wearing the Stay Puft Marshmallow suit. The dog's never seen this picture. The guy has no clothes on the top. What is the dog supposed to bite? This dog has never, I'm assuming, ever bit a real human before, all right? It's a big hurdle for police dogs to get over. Some dogs don't care. They'll do it immediately. I'd say 1 out of 10 dogs, 2 out of 10 dogs will do that, police dogs. The other 8 out of 10 need extra help to get them over that hump. That's what's happening here. These are equipment-oriented dogs. This is a dog that probably does wonderful on the field. If you put on a bite suit, he'll bite the crap out of the bite suit. In this case, he runs up, checks out those water boots, and doesn't do anything. Any comments? Anybody want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, people are saying, like, she probably would have been better off without the dog in this situation, but that the dog is actually performing the best out of the 3 of them.
Well, kind of. He's having a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just having the time of his life. Again, I don't know why she deployed that dog with the leash on. I mean, you can make an argument that if you were going to deploy him with the leash on and you're going to use the leash to use the leash attached to the dog and the dog attached to the arm, yes, there's just sometimes you can use the leash like as leverage to pull the guy to the ground. That I get. But generally speaking, when you cut a dog off leash, you don't want to send it after a suspect with the leash on because the guy can take the leash, wrap it around your dog's throat, just control your dog. It doesn't even matter in this case. Let's just get back to the shenanigans. I'd like this whole, get him ready. Get him ready. Well, if your dog wasn't ready by now, 13, 14, 15, 16 minutes into this, your little patting on the shoulder ain't gonna get him ready.
Yeah, you could just see she's trying to build his drive, and he has, like, no reaction to it.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Just get a drink of water.
Get the down. Try me, and you're gonna fucking regret it. Try me. Tracy, if you want to die today, that's on you. Get the down.
Get down.
This officer just grabbed her taser off her belt.
Put it on front. I'm stopping.
I mean, I'm okay with that,
Down.
but
This ain't how it works. Get the fuck down. Now.
Tracy, I
at least she's
don't wanna
doing
kill
something.
you. I'm giving
But she's
you a
already
chance.
deployed. Let me just pause real quick just so you know that taser's already been deployed twice. That means she's lost both cartridges. The cartridges being that the taser prongs go out about 21 feet. Since those have both been deployed, this taser can only be used with what's called a contact stim or something to that effect, but a dry stun, meaning you got to get right on top of them, put it on, and it's only as soon as you hit the guy's going to pull his arm away or whatever, and so it's only effective for quick little hits. I mean, it hurts, but it's not nearly as incapacitating as taking a full hit with the probe spread. One of the reasons when the probe spread that makes it so effective is that if it does spread, let's say, to the top of the torso and maybe a leg, everything in between that will get basically incapacitated. When you use a dry stun, it's really only a pain compliance tool. It doesn't really incapacitate. It only causes like pain in a very isolated area, meaning if you taser it here, it just feel like I got shot here. It's just going to hurt really bad right here. But I could still punch or swing or run away. She keeps pulling her gun out. It's just her go-to maneuver. I don't know. Oh, by the way, if you didn't remember the ASP? I think this guy also took her ASP because she gets her ASP back way back earlier and then leaves the ASP in the front of her car. Same place she left her police dog to start with. So it just seems like the front of her car is the place she likes to dump her tools. By the way, speaking of dumping tools, this is not the first or the last time we'll bring that up, where she just discards her tools. This gets crazier from here. You think this is bad enough? We've only just begun.
You can talk to the judge about it.
Get down, please. Get down.
I don't want to do this, and I know you're a good person. You just up. We can talk about this when we get up there. But if you make us do this shit, you can't ever come back from it, dude. So get the down. We can get you help. We got EMS coming. Tracy.
Where's that dry
Chad.
stun?
Get him, Chad.
Get down.
No! Help me on the front. Now get down. Get down. No.
Tracy, we can't cuff you on the front. Get down. Get down.
Man, I'm not. Let me talk.
Chin out.
Just let me
Ouch.
talk with somebody.
Chin out.
Let me talk. Let me talk with somebody.
Chin
please.
foos.
Let me
You
talk.
talking to me right here, but you staying right there. Chin foos. Foos.
How about that recall?
Chin.
That's his dog now.
Yeah. The dog, I think the dog's name's Chin. Chin likes Tracy better. Tracy at least plays tug of war with him with his t-shirt. Chin's like, this guy's cool, man. I'm gonna hang with him. She keeps saying Chin Foos. Chin Foos. That's a weird, I don't know if that dog's name's Chin or what, but Foos means heel, recall. No recall happening. Excuse me coughing. I'm dying of a sickness here. I'm out of breath from watching this video. I'm out of breath like this officer as well. There you go, Chin. Nice
Stay
foos.
right f***ing there, Tracy. You know they coming, and it's about to be a nasty fight, right? So stop. Just let us handcuff you.
I don't know if
Walk
they're
up
coming
there
because
like a
nobody knows where the
good-ass
hell
man,
you are.
dude. Please. I'm asking you. You got youngins. Stop doing this shit. Quit coming f***ing closer to me. Quit coming. Your name.
He's thirsty again, or maybe wants to go chase a squirrel.
Quit walking closer to me.
I mean, I've only
Quit.
seen like a handful of these police canine deployments, and even from the handful that I've seen, I've never seen the dog so off leash and loose the whole entire deployment.
You've never seen a dog this disengaged.
Yeah, he's just free.
Her muzzle discipline is what we call it, is just atrocious. She just keeps pointing the gun at him. He's offered zero like deadly threat. Again, yes, you could argue that he could be armed. I'm with that, but at least maybe have it at a low ready, okay? But she's lasers the crap out of her backup here. It's just when if you call it a triangulation, because this is the opposite of a triangulation, right? This is in one straight line. You got to lower your gun because it's very risky to even think about pulling the trigger there. So let alone be pointing your gun that way or having your finger on the trigger. It's dangerous. You just put that, you can have the gun out, but at a low ready, right? Meaning pointing right at the ground, maybe at the guy. Just not this.
Austin, get out my line of sight. Because if I have to shoot him, I don't want to hit you. Try to hit him or something.
I'm not.
I'm asking
try to
you
hit
to
him.
just give up.
Dog's
so we
taking
don't
another
have
little
to
water break.
Do this.
No one's been on the radio.
You about to turn this into a big fight, dude, and you about to get tased a whole lot more. Then get down on your stomach before they get here, because you know it's going to be bad, and you know what it's going to turn into. Tracy, talk to me, man. Get on the damn ground. Quit walking towards me. Chin nine.
Dog wants to play with the boot. I like that tackle. It's the first real bit of police work I've seen.
Chin, Foos. Foos.
Nice recall.
Chin, Foos.
Beautiful recall. Look at that recall.
Foos.
10 points.
Chin, 9.
Chad or Chin or whatever it is, he's just having a great time.
He's fighting when you go to put him in handcuffs, Tuxton. He's fighting.
Don't go anywhere, folks. You ain't seen nothing yet. We are barely getting started. It gets worse.
When you go to put him in handcuffs.
Put your hands behind you. Don't fucking move.
It's not affecting him, dude. We've done popped him.
That one got affected. He's taking the ride, baby. Woo!
Get him.
You heard, I'm gonna go back. It's worth hearing again. First one doesn't get it. You hear that pop of the second one. This is the backup officers come with a fresh taser, 2 fresh cartridges. Deploys the first one. These tasers, man, they're awesome when they work. They suck when they fail, man. They suck.
Popped him.
That one's working. Now the dog's a little more amped up.
Get him.
guys on the ground. Remember I told you when someone's laying on the ground, that triggers in the dog's mind that prey fight, that prey drive. So he's a little more engaged now. Barking, a little vocals coming out. That's what we want to see.
Get him, get him.
All right, now the dog kind of knows what's going on. Oh, I got to stop here for a minute. There's something very important. What do you all see in this picture right now? I'll back it up just a touch. That is unbelievably alarming. Please, someone post in the comments below. What is wrong with this picture right here? Post in the comments. There's something very off. Got the dog in the right hand. Maybe see a little something on the left side of the screen. Let me draw your attention to that. That's her gun belt. That is her gun belt. Why on earth did she take it off? I think she took it off because she's tired and it's heavy. That's all her tools. Mind you, the guy stole her taser. The guy has her handcuffs. She left her Asp in the car, and she don't know how to use her gun, so maybe it's a good thing that she left her gun on the ground. Her gun is literally in the holster, on the gun belt, on the floor, and this guy is still not in custody, meaning it ain't nothing for him to run over and grab her gun right out of the holster. Are we following? Is anybody picking up on that?
Oh, yeah. We get a lot of what the Fs.
This is crazy. Let's continue. I do like that the dog's figuring it out now. Where you been this whole time? We're a full 20 minutes later since this started. Took us 20 minutes to get to this point.
No chin.
And I'm not gonna lie, my boy's putting up a fight. But I'm sorry, what happened to good old police work? I just gotta be real with you all. Fist to face, elbow to the face, knee him in the groin, choke his ass out. I don't care what you gotta do. Break some ribs. We gotta get hands on here. We're not playing games anymore. Come on. We got two grown men here. Let's handle business.
You about to get bit.
Can we just get the handcuffs on?
Just that skitty mess.
Great time to bite him, by the way. If he wants to resist, you can actually bite him right now. Dog's fired up. Let's go. Now you can't. Now it's a little funky. You don't have anything you can bite. You had a leg. Now, this is very dangerous. She puts him in. Now we got to bite. Kind of. Some of you might be going, what the hell just happened? We rewind and play it again. I had to watch it a few times myself. When she puts the dog on him, by the way, yeah, the dog kind of bites. It ain't no bite of the century. More like an exploratory bite. He takes somebody's taser. He takes one of their tasers, rips it off their belt, out of their hand. I think they might have left it on the ground while they were tussling with him. Another classic, move. You see that taser there? This is in the air. I don't know who's holding it right now. Let's back it up just a touch. At this point that she puts the dog on him. Oh, we had to play it again to can't really slow it down for you, but you're gonna hear the taser go off. Pocking is the bite command. He's got the taser in his hand there. You see that? Look at the tasers. Oh, he's tasering the dog, or trying to. Again, I think it's only on dry stun, so it's not quite. I mean, yeah, you don't want to get tasered. You could absolutely shoot this guy right now. You are justified at this moment to shoot him. It's not like the best shoot of the century. You could do it, though. You could argue, he's not because he's tasering the police dog, but because he's actively trying to use an incapacitating weapon against police officers. Problem is we got my boy over here out of the fight. He fell back. I don't know where the other guy is. She could shoot him right now, couldn't she? No, she can't because she doesn't have her gun on her. What? She doesn't have her gun on her. So the window with which to use deadly force opened, and then it closes.
You got your first Reno 9/11 mention, so we must have reached the point of peak stupidity.
This is Super Troopers. I don't know what she's doing here. I've never seen someone do this to their gun. I've seen now her finger's on the trigger. You see that finger there? The finger is on the trigger. I don't know if she went to rat. I don't know. What are you doing? You don't pull your gun out and like press check it at this point. I don't know what the hell she's doing. But nothing surprises me with these. This is straight up Super Troopers. This is Reno 911. You cannot make this stuff up. And then she grips this gun really funky after this. But again, I've never seen someone like, oh, let me disengage from the fight. Let me run back to where I left my gun belt and get my gun out. Are you kidding me?
You fucking dog, man. Quit or I'm gonna shoot.
He no longer has the taser. That window with which you could have shot him and used deadly force closed. Sometimes it opens and closes, depends what's happening. A very dynamic situation, I'll give him that. We're now pointing the taser back at this guy, but these tasers are pointless now. They have no more prongs in them, no cartridges. They're just dry stun. Again, we need to be going hands-on at this point.
Resist or quit. Quit. I don't want.
See how she's holding the gun? So it's a horrible grip. That slide's going to come back and rip her, cause lacerations on her left thumb. You can't hold it that way. It's incorrect, very incorrect. That left thumb cannot be there, should not be there. It's actually called, there's a name for it. Maybe y'all can post in the comments. It's called like slide cut or something. A lot of rookie shooters will do this the first time they pick up a gun. I've seen people do this. But that slide's going to come back and cut her. It's not the end of the world, it just doesn't feel great. This dog's Chin or Chet or whatever is kindly figuring it out, I guess.
I want to shoot you. Let my dog go. Let my dog go.
He's petting the dog.
Let my dog go. Let it go. Let it go. Get him. Get him.
Finger on the trigger. Look at the finger still on the trigger. Lasering everybody there. Her thumb's now in the trigger guard. But let me back up because in case you all missed it.
Let my whip.
She can't have shot him. She could. That is not justified use of legal force. It is not. And I'm the first one to really look into the gray area and give benefit of the doubt to any officer at just about any time. You're like, well, you know, yeah, kind of, I can see what they were seeing. I see why they shot. This is a horrible shooting. Deadly force. And let me, go back to my days of, the police academy. And when can you use justified, when are you justified to use deadly force? Only to stop or prevent death or serious bodily injury to yourself or others. Period. Death or serious bodily injury to yourself or others. So let's go ahead and watch and see if you see anyone at imminent, by the way, it's got to be imminent risk of death or serious bodily injury.
I don't want to shoot you. Let my dog go. Let my dog go.
87 dispatches took the...
Let my dog go.
Just pops a cap in his ass, literally.
Let it go. Let it go.
What is this putz? I gotta watch. We got the putz on the left, and I'm sorry, man, he ain't been very helpful. He's just been holding these damn pink handcuffs in his hand for the last literally 20 minutes. Literally, my boy has been holding these since the crash. Just holding them, ain't doing much. Now, I don't know what is going on.
Let it go.
At least you shot him and not the dog. Bad grip again, finger on trigger, lasering her dog and everybody else. See how he's using the leash and kind of choking the dog out?
Let him go. Let my dog go.
Still pointing the gun at him with a finger on the trigger.
I'm down, man.
Chin. Chin out. Let him go.
Get your ass over there, man.
She should be holstering her weapon at this point, right? She can't because she doesn't have a holster on. She's out of gas, barely holding on to her dog.
Okay. Let me go. Let me go.
There's her holster on the ground. And there's no
No.
gun in it. As best I can tell, I do not see a gun in that holster. Again, that's her gun belt just laying on the ground with all her extra mags. I don't know if she just put the gun on the ground. Maybe it is even if it is holstered, put the hood of that retention system back on. And if she's contemplating life now, because she's got to know deep down that that is a bad shot. That is a bad, bad shooting. There was no imminent threat.
She's
Yeah, 9. Now Chin wants a piece of that ass.
Be careful. I shot him in the leg.
Now, you would think that this is over. It ain't
I
over
shot him
yet.
in the leg. I didn't want to kill him. All my stuff's destroyed. He tased me. I shot him in the leg. I didn't want to kill him. All my stuff's...
I didn't want to kill him. I shot him in the leg. You can't even say that. You can't say that you specifically targeted the guy and shot him in the leg. I believe her. I believe she wasn't trying to kill him, and she only let off one shot, and I think she was specifically targeting him in the leg or the ass. You can't do that. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that nowhere, not even in Homerville PD. When you shoot, you are shooting to stop a threat. You are taught to shoot center mass and center. Yes, can you? You're not even can't spray and pray. If you end up shooting the guy in the leg, fine. But when you are deposed later and you are asked later, what were you doing when you pulled the trigger? I was trying to stop a deadly threat. Not, well, I was aiming for his leg to just incapacitate him. Now, that's the crap you see in the movies, and people get all screwed up. They think we can just, why didn't you just shoot him in the hand so he dropped the knife? Because it ain't like that, right? You never get that. Because if you aim to shoot him in the hand and he moves and you shoot him in the face or you shoot him in the chest and you kill him, imagine she had, which is surprising as bad as her grip was, that she goes to shoot him in the leg and she shoots him in the chest and kills him. Would you kill him for? Because he was petting your dog? And I get it, he wasn't petting the dog, he was holding the dog back, but he wasn't choking the dog out. Even if he was choking the dog out, unfortunately, the dog is not the same equivalent as a human in this case. It's not considered a police officer. You cannot use deadly force. You cannot use deadly force to protect what is in this case considered property. Unfortunately, the dog, it is sad, and I don't agree with it, but you can't use deadly force to protect a police dog. It's happened in the past. It's a really crappy scenario. We've played this out many times. Myself and fellow canine handlers have talked about it. We'll show videos. Let's just say, for argument's sake, just to really drive this point home, he had a knife and started stabbing that dog. As crazy as it is, you can't shoot him. You cannot shoot him. And you definitely can't say, I shot him to stop him from stabbing my police dog. I know it's crazy. Trust me, if I was there, likely I'd shoot the guy. The only justification you might have is, I know that after he finishes stabbing my dog, he is then going to come after me with the knife. Yes, then you could do it. And then, I want to just clarify something I said earlier about when you're justified to use deadly force. Yeah, you can use deadly force on a fleeing suspect when you believe that suspect poses a threat to the safety of persons in the area. What would that example be? A suspect maybe just did a shooting, just had a shootout with police. Literally, the shots were just fired. Bullets were exchanged. I mean, there's millions of examples. Now the guy is still armed and running towards a school, right? Remember, the window is open. When the gunfire was going on, he pointed a gun at an officer. While he's pointing the gun or firing the gun, absolutely you can shoot him. Oh, but now he didn't shoot, or he stopped shooting, and now he's turned and is walking away or running away. It doesn't matter. But he's not actually posing imminent threat to you, but he keeps getting closer and closer and closer to a school, closer and closer and closer to a bus stop where there's people. Yeah, it's one of those kind of gray areas, if you will. I mean, it's not totally gray. It's just a little vague, but yeah, you could shoot someone at that point, because you don't have to be a genius to figure out, like, well, what's he going to do when he gets in the school with the gun? What's he going to do when he approaches the bus stop with the gun? He's already pointed it at police. He's already shot at police. He's already killed someone, whatever it is. You could justify, I had to take him out before he got any closer to these people. But that's not what's happening here. This guy was just holding on to the dog. All right, we're almost done.
Destroyed.
I appreciate y'all staying with me.
Yeah, and he hit my dog. I don't know where all my shit is. There's somebody in the back of my Tahoe. I gotta go look at the other one. Him?
Oh, did you all forget?
Yeah, the other one's in the back of my patrol car. He got spray all in Austin's eyes. Austin couldn't see. Followed us for 30 minutes. The Tahoe up there.
You remember the guy? The
All
passenger?
my shit's over there. My radio, my buckle.
She did find your weapon?
Yeah.
Okay.
You remember our boy?
Dave! Dave! Dave!
She's got this long walk back.
Guess was transported.
We'll let this play out. You can hear in the last 10 seconds, but there's 6 seconds left. If y'all haven't figured it out yet, what would you do if you were the passenger of that initial vehicle? You got handcuffed in the front. You got thrown in the back of a police cruiser, but not where prisoners go, where the dog goes. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the only thing separating the dog from the front seat is just a little door, a little caged door that can be opened with a little latch, so that you can actually, the dog can come through. You've seen those photos. You can, well, the main reason you use it for, honestly, is to just reach back and pet your dog, right? Typically, you'd be driving around with that open. Dog can kind of come out, look to see what's going on. There have been incidents where the dog can be deployed right from the front seat. The door is open. You grab the dog by the collar. You open your driver's door. Dog's coming out with you. To be clear, those cages are not designed to keep prisoners in the back. So what do you think happened? Here we are about 30 minutes later. I'm going to back up just a minute. It's 11:04. It literally is 28 minutes later since this whole thing has started. I think I have my math correct. Maybe it's been longer than that. Remember the passengers in the back seat?
Guess was transported to the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to the leg. Thornton is still at large.
Thornton is our guy here, the black guy that was in the passenger seat. This guy. Thornton flew the coop, baby. Thornton, with his handcuffs in the front, reached out, opened the thing, and just got out and walked away, scot-free. What the hell did you think was happening? And you might say, well, what else could she have done with him? Well, there's another patrol car there. She could have put him in the real patrol car. I mean, you could have handcuffed him to the trailer maybe. That's not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do. It's better than this. It's better than this debacle. But that's the end. Appreciate you all watching. But wait, there's more. There's always more. So we're going to take an opportunity now and call Jennifer Wing. She's my stepmother. And she did, I don't want to mistake it, but she did a little over 20 years, I believe, with City of Miami Police Department, same one I worked at, in a lot of high-speed units. One of the best cops you'll ever meet or you'll ever hear of. I'm not just saying that because she's my stepmother. We're going to be calling her in a minute, so stand by for that. We're going to put her on speakerphone. This is the first time she's seen this. She's been watching live with you all. I want to get her take on it. Now that it's fresh, now that she's seen it, I only gave her a quick little synopsis of what she was about to see. And I think it's got to be even crazier than anything I could have explained over the phone. We're going to get her input on it. But one of the things she did in her career, among many other things, was she was a canine handler. So you're going to hear it from her with a ton of experience, what she thinks of this just ridiculousness. So we're going to call her now. Never done this before, but I thought it would be cool for you all to hear it from someone else. Hello, hello?
Hey, Garrett, hang on. Let me, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on.
She's going to close out the video. I can't hear it on my end, so.
Oh, you can hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, so you don't hear the video or anything?
Nope, we're good.
Okay. All right, let me know when you're ready.
I am ready. You're on. You're on. Everybody wants to hear. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Welcome to the show. Jen, we got you on. I already gave a little brief introduction, but I want to clarify. I don't have the details right in front of me. How many years were you with the city?
I was with the city for 22 and a half years.
All right. And you were a canine handler. How many years were you in the canine unit, give or take?
I was in the canine unit from 05 to 08. It was 3 years.
And you were Canine Yosha, a, 85, 90-pound German Shepherd?
Yeah, he was a big boy.
Yep. And anyways, you've been in a lot of other high-speed units. honestly, now that I look back on it, you're one of, if not one of the only female units in some of the units that you were in. Excuse me, one of the only female officers that were even allowed to be in some of the units that you were in. Where you spent the majority of the last part of your career was in the TRU unit, Tactical Robbery Unit. Really, really high speed unit, going after murder suspects, armed robbery suspects, getting in chases multiple times a day, backing up K9, and it's just hard to put into words, at least succinctly, how much experience you have. Literally had the nickname of car chaser in Overtown, that they would see her drive through. It's kind of hard not to notice her, you know, a petite white woman, white police officer with blonde hair driving through, and she worked midnight shift most of her career. And so she kind of stuck out as, you know, like a sore thumb when she was driving around. And she basically was the last one you wanted to get behind you. Because if you were driving in a stolen car or you were riding with dirty plates, she's going to be on your ass. And anyhow, without further ado, just a quick little background there. With your training and experience, I just want to get your firsthand, fresh perspective on what we saw here.
Okay. Let me put it to you this way. My entire career, I was on the street, whether it was in patrol, specialized unit, be it K9, tactical robbery, or on loan to the county. Every single day of my career was on the street. I never sat behind a desk. So, tactically speaking, I was pretty sound. But let me start with this video. Oh my God. Oof.
Like, where do you start, right?
Yeah, I was just like, oof. The whole thing was just, oh my Lord.
Well, what stood out to you? What are some of the things that stood out to you that...
Well, first and foremost, not knowing her location. That is huge. She's got a vehicle flanner. She's chatting with her girlfriend, Ashley, on the phone. And then she calls her boyfriend, the chief, and he's telling her what she should already know. And telling her, you know, don't get out, send the dog. And she's not on the radio. She's not letting backup know where she is. Yeah, okay, she's got a unit with her, but he doesn't seem to be transmitting where the location is either.
Yeah,
and he's involved in the accident.
He's pretty helpless himself, yeah.
Yeah.
Got the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, he was kind of a hot mess himself. But God, the radio thing and the location is just so huge because things can turn really bad really fast. And if you don't know where you are and your backup can't get to you, it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Let me go into the putting the prisoner in the back of the K9 car.
Have you ever done that, or have you ever seen someone do that?
I've never seen that. I've never done it. Somebody accidentally tried to open my back door to throw a prisoner in there. Luckily, my doors were locked.
Yes, that has happened. That has happened. People have been bit doing that.
Yeah.
Backups have been bit. Civilians have been bit. We've heard, we'll just pause for a minute because it just rings a bell because it's very interesting. Sometimes we've heard incidents of police canine handlers maybe taking their kid to school and pulling up. The kid's riding in the front. They're not supposed to be doing this, but people do this. And then what happens when you roll up to school, anybody that's went through car line, there's been an incident, I know of one particularly, where the teacher opened up the door to let the kid out of the back seat and she got met with the dog and got bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that officer got fired or relieved or definitely kicked out of the K9 unit. So, but anyways.
Yeah, that's not even something you train to do because it's not something you do. That vehicle is not equipped to handle a prisoner.
No.
First of all, it's just bars, like a jail door, so anybody can reach through. And like you said in your podcast, it's just a little knob, a little thing that you flip open, and the centerpiece opens. And geez, I could fit through there. You could fit through there. So obviously, a bad guy could fit through there. My very first question is, when she puts him in the back, even though she's probably not supposed to do it, is does she have a second weapon in the car?
Yeah. Yep.
I rode around with a second weapon in my car, in my front seat, in my duty bag.
Yep. A lot of officers riding around with shotguns, rifles.
Yep.
She probably left the keys in. She left the radio in.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about a second weapon. And let's say she didn't have one. Well, she gave him one when she left her asp in the front seat.
True.
So now he potentially could be armed in some way.
Yeah.
And, easily getting out of the K9 car because all he's got to do is crawl through that center console. So that was horrible. I mean, it's not ideal, but you mentioned it, you know, handcuff them to the trailer or the push bumper or the police car or something other than putting them in the back where your dog belongs.
Yeah, crazy.
And then okay, so she gets Thornton on the ground. He's handcuffed in front. I guess the primary officer that got hit handcuffed him. And now they've got the other guy, and he's been tasered. And he goes down, but then he starts to come up. Why are they not going hands-on? He's already proven that he can fight through a taser. So they tase him again and pepper spray him, and he runs off.
Yep.
But they don't go running after him.
Well,
It's like
kind of.
catch that guy.
Kind of. The male officer does run after him a little bit, and then she just lets him go on his own, which is dangerous. But
Yeah.
And then, I mean, man, if you were going to deploy your dog, that would have been a great time to do it. But
That would have been the time to do it. Exactly. So, all right. I wrote some notes down, so I'm trying to...
it's that bad. There's that many things we have to write notes. Normally, it's like, oh, you know, the officer could have done this a little better. This is a series of horrible tactics and just...
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, so now she gets her dog out on a 6-foot lead, not with a pinch, not with a choke, only a flat, not with a tracking harness, not with a 15-foot lead. She's putting herself in peril because she's doing everything wrong. Everything. She gets the leash on her dog, and what does she do? She sends the dog running. And then she realizes, oh, crap, I got, you know, the bad guy laying on the ground over there. Let me go back and put the bad guy in the back of my car. This is her thought process.
Yep.
Maybe she did call her dog back before she started heading back to the bad guy. I didn't catch that. But so she...
Well, that's when she stuffs the dog in the front seat.
Right. Okay, so she stuffs the dog in the front seat, and she puts the bad guy in the back.
You ever put your police dog in the front seat?
What's that?
Have you ever put your police dog in the front seat of your car?
Oh, my God, no. Maybe the only reason you would do something like that is an extreme emergency, and you want, like, absolute AC on them.
Sure.
Because they're overheated and they're just, you know, done.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that is the only reasoning that I can come up with, that you would put your dog in the front seat.
Yeah.
So, all right, so now her...
By the way, I thought it was super risky for her to let her dog out running around off leash with that suspect on the ground to begin with. If any real police dog would have seen my boy laying there, and they would have smoked his ass.
I mean, the dog wasn't fired up at all. He wasn't barking in the back seat during the chase, during the stop, when she's out with her handgun out, you know, pointing at the guy, yelling at him to get on the ground when he's already on the ground. The dog was not fired up.
Yep.
So, all right, so all this rigmarole, she gets the guy in her back seat, her backup comes back, hands her ass, she throws her ass in the front seat, gets her dog out, goes into her trunk for I don't know what, and then decides to go on this track on her own. Now, I don't know if they track there or wind scent. I have no idea, but any dog worth its weight would pick it up either way.
Yep. And by the way, I think this is a great time to pause and talk about this, just so you're aware. I think I had told you, but I didn't tell the folks watching this. We know a little bit more of the backstory of this department and their certifications or lack thereof. In Florida, you have to do a 480-hour course and then pass a certification with, I believe, 2 evaluators, right? Three evaluators have to sign off on, and your dog has to go through a series of things, such as biting, such as a recall, all the basics, right? It could take, I don't know, about 30 minutes maybe to run through the whole ordeal. And then the evaluators judge based off your dog's performance whether or not it's certified and it hits what are the state minimum requirements. Georgia does not have that. Georgia is one of those states that has no minimum requirements. They're not on the books, so you could technically, as in the case here, literally go down, pick up a dog from the pound. This dog's not from the pound. They did pick this dog up from a vendor. It's going to have some level of training and deploy it the very next day. Meaning, again, going back to the Florida state standards, both you and the dog as a team have to get certified. So much so that it's important that the team works together, that You could get a dog that was previously certified under a different handler. You can get a handler that was previously certified with experience, and you could pair them up. And even if you pair them up, they still can't hit the road the very next day. They have to go through a minimum of 200 hours to work together as a team and make sure that they're working and then get their certification. Meaning you got to put in 2, 3, 4 months, bare minimum, just to be able to, you know, get certified and again pass evaluation. That doesn't happen here, as you can tell. Like, it's pretty apparent this lady don't know what she's doing, this dog doesn't know what she's doing. They wouldn't have passed the certification, the bare minimum. And again, that's just the bare minimum. Then we spend so much time, even after certification. Little known fact, even when you certify, we typically spend an extra 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, or as much time as you can squeeze in, what we call dirtying the dog up. Meaning we pass like the state exam, great. Now let's get this dog really ready for the street. Let's get him tougher. Let's get him understanding that he can target a bad guy, muzzle work, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'm just bringing the folks up to speed. They didn't know that. Well, this dog didn't get any of that. It didn't get dirtied up. It didn't get state certified. This lady's not certified. They literally just picked this dog up. I don't know how long it'd been employed with him, but it's a very young dog, you can tell. I'm telling you, they just grabbed this dog from a vendor and you're certified. Go for it. Go ahead. You're certified by me, the chief, who's also your boyfriend.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me. I mean, my dog Yosha, he was very clean, and I had to dirty him up on the streets. It was a lot of time invested in making him a biting dog. So you can't just take him straight out of training and think that your dog is going to engage, because that isn't always the case. Mm-hmm. There's a handful of times where you get a really hard dog that has no problem out of the gate, but that's very rare. Mm-hmm. And it shows me that she didn't really have that much a bond with the dog, because it kept running off away from her, even though she was calling it. You know, played in the puddle and ran up the hill, and she had no clue where her dog was. And her dog wasn't coming back.
Yep.
So, you know, these dogs, they bond with you when you train with them. And if she's not bonded with that dog's going to have really no concerns about her safety, mm-hmm. or her well-being, or, you know, taking care of mommy, so to speak.
Yep. And maybe Spider, play this in the background, because as she's talking, I'm kind of playing some of those highlights. So, all right, let's move on to when she's out there tracking through the woods, 6-foot leash. Anything you remember from that? Or wherever your notes are. You tell me where you're at.
Okay. I'm just about into the deployment now.
Okay.
Okay, so now she starts on this track. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have her backup with her. Mm-hmm. She still doesn't know where she is. Mm-hmm. And she goes on this track by herself with a dog that, in my heart, I wouldn't trust to mm-hmm. engage. But, you know, that's me. So now she's on this deployment, again with a gun, back and forth, back and forth. When she's in the field and she's hollering his name out and she's threatening to release the dog, I think that I don't think she saw him. I think that was like trying to force him to come out of hiding.
Ah, okay, makes sense.
That's what I think that was.
Right. But
then the gun in the hand, and while she's tracking, it's horrible. It's horrible. She lasers her dog multiple times with her finger on the trigger. Mm-hmm. You know, walking through muck and over trees and stuff like that, anything can happen. She could have a reactionary shooting. Yep. You know, she pulls the leash with her left hand and fires with the right.
Yep. Yep. And that's, and just for the folks listening, that's a very well documented behavior or thing that happens. Why they say don't have your finger on the trigger, because if you fall or you trip or you flinch, your natural reaction is to just squeeze your hands, and if your finger's on the trigger, the gun's going off. There was actually a case I was reading just the other day where an officer had his gun pointed at a suspect. The taser deployed. The taser ends up hitting both him, the suspect, and the officer. And because the officer got hit with the taser, he flinched and shot his gun and hit the suspect. Again, another bad shooting. Because of that sympathetic, I guess it's like a sympathetic nervous reaction, might not be saying it perfectly, but that's why we don't walk around with our guns out or the finger on trigger, unless you only put your finger on the trigger if you are ready to pull that trigger. You're ready to take someone's life.
Exactly. Let me digress for a moment. When he started running away after the accident, why didn't they go hands-on with this guy? I mean, I'm hearing a lot, please, and get on the ground, I'm going to shoot you, but please, let's
I'm looking back, and they kind of did, but it was a half-ass effort. like kind of pushing him to the ground. Very half-assed though. But we got to start going fisticuffs. We got to start giving my boy a knuckle sandwich. You are authorized to do that. You want to goof around, you're gonna get it in the face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You meet with equal resistance.
Yeah, or greater. You know, we can always go a step or two up.
Correct. It's, part of the matrix.
The use of force matrix. Yep.
Use of force matrix. I'm sorry.
It's interesting too because he was there's multiple times where he was like about 90% in custody. Right after the tasering, he's laying on the ground and they just, I don't know, man. Like let's just get this done already. Goofing around.
Okay. So
All right.
let me go back to the deployment. So now she's in the field. You can tell she's gassed. The dog is gassed. Then the backup somehow becomes, we call them backup for a reason. We don't call them front ups. You don't want your backup in front of you.
Yeah.
There's a reason we call them that.
Yeah.
And she's lasering him the entire time.
Yeah.
He's gassed, wandering around with pink handcuffs in his hands. He sees the bad guy. I understand that the backup is now the front up is gassed.
The backup is now the front up. That's a classic.
So the front up is now within 4 feet of the bad guy and doesn't go hands on. Mm-hmm. Doesn't give him a shove, doesn't trip his feet, nothing. He's just kind of wandering behind him like they're shopping in a mall. So, I mean, it's horrible. So then, all right, now he has, like you said, he just has the, he doesn't have the cartridge for the taser anymore, so he's got to be up close and personal with this guy.
Yeah.
And now she's in the driveway after her little rest on the tree.
That's where I'm at right now. As you're talking, I'm kind of play by play. She's taking a little break on the tree right now.
Taking a break on the tree. And now she takes a few steps.
I mean, there's a time to take a break, but it's when it's all over. You can't really take a break right now.
Yeah. So she's gassed. She walks over. Now she fires up her dog, who I think kind of in the picture now what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, a little bit.
The dog runs over there and checks out, the guy's water boots.
Yeah.
And then, wanders away and goes down in the culvert and gets a little sip of water. And then, then finally, the front up gives him a little, tries to get him with the taser and a little shove. Now the dog's more interested.
Yeah.
But he's still kind of like hanging around, like he's a house pet.
Yeah.
And this guy is a friend coming over to have a beer and watch the football game.
Yeah, and play tug of war with his T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was awful, but let's get to the worst of it. So now she's called her dog back to her, and now she's taking a little rest on the mailbox, because you can see the black mailbox where she's trying to talk with a gun out and her dog in her hand. And so now she points the gun at the guy and says, "Come on, please, get on the ground. I don't want to shoot you. And it's just a comedy of errors, this whole thing. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell her gun belt got off of her.
It's too heavy.
Dropped.
Just a little heavy.
She dropped all of her tools. Anything that she can utilize to help herself, she's dropped on the ground.
Yeah, no radio.
No radio.
No gun.
No handcuffs, because that front up's got the pink handcuffs.
Yeah, front up.
I mean, she's got nothing. She left her ass in the car, assuming she has pepper spray, and it's probably on her belt. But all of her tools are gone. So now she's over there. The guy somehow gets somebody's taser. I don't know how.
I think they left it on the ground.
Okay.
During the tussle, just tossed on the ground, which is not typical. You're not supposed to do that.
Maybe that department trains for, because she left her gun on the ground too. So somehow he gets somebody's taser. He tasers her. Now she's pissed, and you can tell she's pissed.
Yeah.
Because she's cursing.
Yep.
And she runs back to her gun belt, which is 40, 50 feet away. Doesn't put the belt on. She only grabs the gun. And goes back over there. So now she's got the dog in one hand, her gun in the other, lets the dog go. The dog's, engaging, finally. And the dog...
Oh, actually, you can see it here. I rewound back a little bit, just maybe 10, 20, 30 seconds before the dog bite, as you're describing. I'm watching it now. The officer just tosses the taser on the ground, basically at this guy's feet. Just tosses it right there.
Why? Why not? Your belt is your tool belt.
Yeah, you just holster that thing. You don't just toss it on the ground.
Toss it on the ground.
I'm pointing it out to the people who might be watching it. They can see this. The spider, they can see that.
Yeah, they're seeing it.
I'm circling it there. Yeah. So I'll just back it up. He just tosses it on the ground.
Wow.
Little tosseroo.
Okay, so now he's allowed the suspect to be armed. So she gets tased. She's pissed. She goes back, gets her gun. Dog's engaging. Dog comes off. All the guy's doing is he's got his thumb through the top of the dog's collar, just holding him back.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't want to get bit anymore.
Yeah.
And then she shoots him.
What do you? Go ahead. What do you think about that shooting?
I absolutely hate to Monday morning quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, I don't necessarily agree with this thought process, but everybody says the dog is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's a piece of equipment. The dog is considered a piece of equipment, and it's not even your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the department's equipment,
Mm-hmm.
the agency's equipment. So that was horrible. That was horrible. She had no justification for that.
And even equipment or dog or not, and again, when you're saying it's equipment, it's not that you feel that way. It's just in the eyes of the law.
Correct.
The dog is a piece of is an equipment. But even if you look at it as your loving pet, the guy's just holding onto the collar, you know.
Right.
And
So and she kept lasering the officer.
everybody, yeah.
Her front up, everybody, you know.
The front up, yeah.
And, you know, I'm hoping she was telling the truth and that she really had that kind of target acquisition that she could hit him on the leg.
Yeah, but
But that was a dangerous shot to make with officers on either side.
yeah. Now,
And her dog.
yes. And do you see any justification for the shooting at that time?
No.
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 So
But that's my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a professor of law. Right. On the scene, I can just base it on what I saw in the video.
So I'll tell you what ends up.
I would not have.
Some of you all might be wondering what ends up happening as a result of this. I don't know if they ever caught up with the passenger or not, or they arrested him, but that's besides the point. As far as this officer and the shenanigans that we saw, she either quits or is relieved of duty or is fired. She's no longer with that agency. But they do actually do a grand jury to see whether or not they could indict her for whatever you might want to call it, charges of aggravated battery with a firearm, attempted murder, whatever charge they're looking at, because this is from, what appears to be a completely unjustified shooting. It's just a bad shooting. There was windows there where you could shoot, right? Like when he goes to taser.
Yeah, she had windows, but the windows had already closed.
Yeah. So they end up doing a grand jury, and somehow, amazingly, they do not indict her. And you know what? Good for her. You know what I mean? Because, look, let's just rewind. Is it a good shooting? No. Did he deserve to get shot in the ass? Yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Stop goofing around. You know what I mean? Stop tasering police officers. Stop running from the police. Stop stealing stolen cars. Stop ramming police officers. You know, he had plenty of reasons, like, he's a jackass. I don't feel bad that he got shot. I mean, when I first watched it, I laughed. Like, good, I'm happy he got shot. Don't get me wrong. This is just a bad shooting. But seriously, how she didn't get indicted, I don't know. I think it had a lot to do with the totality of the circumstances, the fact that this went on for near 20 minutes, that the guy resisted arrest so much, the fact that she's a female weighed in a lot to it, and it's like they have exhausted everything at this point. They've tasered him multiple times. They've pepper sprayed him. They've gone physical with him. They've put a dog on him. I don't even know of any other tools that are available. Maybe a 40 mic, a grenade launcher, or shotgun or beanbag rounds, but they didn't have that. So they pretty much threw the kitchen sink at him. That doesn't still mean it's a justified shooting, but maybe the jury just felt bad for her and just didn't feel, I don't know. I don't know how, honestly. It just kind of shocks me that she was able to do that. And you know what? I have mixed feelings on it, but good for her. Now, she's since left that department and is now employed. I don't want to say where because I don't want to bring it up. I will say in Alaska. and that's not a joke. She's in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. I don't know
in
what.
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, handling the polar bears and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hopefully she's not a canine handler, and hopefully, you know, the most action she gets out there is, you know, making sure snow plows are plowing the roads or whatever it is they do up in Alaska, because this is just crazy. Yeah, she's.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I don't. From what I see, and from my experience, in my opinion, I would not have taken the shot.
no.
But that's me. You know, I can't say what was going through her head, or was she just mad because he tasered her, or was she PO'd because she was out of breath, or did she, you know, legitimately think there was a threat in her brain? I mean, I can't get into her brain, so I can't answer those questions for her.
But I mean, we have a long list of just straight up catastrophes.
The whole thing was just oof. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just really, if I were to summarize it, like this lady literally had no reason. It she's just, I don't know, just lack of training. It's just bad. She has no, just bad policing, bad tactics.
You hit on so many points that, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm regurgitating what you said, but the leash and the gun hand, you know, and that, you know, it's just, there was so many different things that she did, and she wasn't on that search for very long that she should be that gassed.
Agreed.
So I never saw what she looked like. I mean, I have no idea, you know, what her size is.
Yeah.
But that's nothing for a search.
Yeah, you're right.
For 15, 16 minutes, she should not have been that gassed. And in part, she could have been that gassed because she was letting her dog rule the search.
Yeah, true.
Trying to keep up with the dog rather
Yeah.
than keep the dog in her momentum.
Her pace, yeah. And then, you know, really the biggest reason I had you on, and maybe we can end with this, you know, what are your thoughts, if you will, woman to woman, female officer to female officer, you know, whether this is it, you know, am I out of line in critiquing this officer, taking gender out of it? Like,
No. Well, first of all, we're all officers. We're not female officers or male officers. We're all police officers. And yeah, okay, woman to woman, you can tell me to say that. It really has nothing to do with my gender.
Yes.
What it has to do with is her tactics as a law enforcement officer. I would say the same thing if a man was doing it.
Absolutely, yeah. That was the big thing I wanted to drive home. I'm not picking on her because she's a chick.
No.
If anything, you could argue, like, you know, when you're outmatched in size and strength, you got to be even more cognizant of your tactics and your skills. There's a lot of small-framed male officers out there. I've been in situations where I'm like, I am outmatched here. I mean, I'll still get in there, but I'm just going to do the best I can. But you got to approach it a little smarter, a little more carefully, and not just leave your damn gun belt on the ground, not get on the radio and.
Well, I mean, could you imagine if this was not such a rural area, and it was more a city locale? That belt would have been gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Snatched. Just straight.
Yeah, it would have been gone.
You mean to tell me the outstanding citizens of Overtown and Allapattah and Little Haiti down in the city of Miami, you mean to tell me that they would actually steal a police officer's gun belt if it was left on the ground?
No, they would retrieve it for safekeeping and then return it to the department later. Of course they'd steal it. Come on.
All right, well, Jen, thank you so much for weighing in on this. It's always great to get a second opinion, even though I think our opinions are exactly aligned. But I think the folks were happy to hear. Go ahead and post in the comments, you know, give a big shout out to Jen and your thoughts on her opinion on this. And so happy to have you on and get your perspective with your training experience and background. Anyhow.
Well, and thank you for having me on.
No, my pleasure. So post in the comments below if you want to see her on the next podcast, actually come in person and hear some of the war stories that she's got with over 22 years as a City of Miami police officer. You name it, she's done it. She has got some wild, wild stories. So if you haven't already, I'm going to go ahead and cut you loose now, Jen, but I'm going to keep it going. You can jump back in. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Bye. If you haven't already, now is the time, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to our second channel. That's where we're going to be posting more of these things. That's where we're actually going to post this video in a more streamlined manner, not in a live manner, but we're going to have podcasts. You can actually see one-on-one with Jennifer, listen to her stories, car chases, shootings, bailouts, fights, homicides, you name it. She's been there and done it, and just some of the wildest police stories that you could ever, you're like, that is not true, that didn't really happen, but it is all true. It's all been documented, and you can hear it from her. Literally one of the toughest, most proactive police officers, period, let alone the fact that she is a female officer. And yes, we try not to discriminate or discern, oh, female, male, but she is a well-respected, super tough cop, just unbelievable track record, unbelievable statistics, just worked her ass off from day one up into the final days of her career. And if you guys want to see her on the podcast, you know where to find it, that second channel. We already have a handful of episodes filmed. We'll be dropping one every week. Now is the time. You can check it out in the descriptions. Maybe one of my moderators can go ahead and post it. The channel's name is Garrett Wing, and you'll be able to subscribe, go over there, check it out. We just dropped episode 0 a few days ago. The first episode will be coming out, I don't know, any day now, maybe tomorrow. We've got a few minutes, I think. Any comments, anything you all want to discuss, anything you want to point out? Can anyone tell us about the Karen Read trial? We got a verdict yet? I don't know what is taking so long for that jury to figure this out already. Like, what is the hang-up? That is a clear and easy not guilty. We got anything from the folks? Anything you all want to weigh in? I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the live myself. Make sure you're just sharing me and not the screen, because we're gonna be going into the live here, so I can check you all out. All right, got 500 of you all watching. Really happy you all are here. We got a ton more coming, by the way. A ton more. We've got tons of police canine breakdowns. We're also going to jump into some just straight up police shootings that don't necessarily involve. We try to keep it restricted to just police canine deployments, but we're going to expand that horizon a little bit. Yes, I spent a lot of time as a police canine handler and supervisor, but I also spent time as just a regular street cop too in the city of Miami, which, you know, not for nothing. It ain't Homerville PD. It ain't Homerville. So, you know, and as a supervisor and as a commander of a couple of units, I got some experience, you know, not to brag or nothing, but I feel it's good enough for me to watch some of these crazy videos and break them down. And honestly, before you all get it twisted and say, oh, Garrett's just out there bashing police officers, on the contrary, having said all that I said, this is the hardest job on the planet. I mean, it is tough, and it sucks to get Monday morning quarterback. The media absolutely destroys police officers. I'm not about that. This one, though, is just, you can't, I'm struggling to find something good that she did. You know what? I'll give it to her. She had a lot of heart. She didn't give up, and the guy did get in custody, and she shot his ass. Nice shot. So I'll give her that. Good for her. Proud of her for doing that. Aside from all of that, no business being a police officer. She could just, if she got a lot more training, and that dog got more training, then she could be up to snuff. Because it looks like her heart's in it. She never gave up. So I will give her that. You know what I mean? It's just, this is a serious lack of training and some lack of judgment there, which goes along with training. But having said that, like, generally speaking, we're out there commending officers for the great job that they do. And even though that this was a complete debacle, this is that 1 out of 1,000, 1 out of 10,000 incidents where it is like this. The other 9,999 is we're going to be sitting there in your corner rooting you on, letting you know what a great job you did. Even if you goof up here or there, like, no one's perfect. I've done some dumb, I have done some dumb, jackass, stupid things in my career. Bad decision making, bad tactics. I've been called a cowboy, kind of a loose cannon, because I was a go-getter. Tons of drive, like a Malinois, right? My coach, Eddie, shout out to Coach Eddie Lindenbaum. If you are watching, is my business coach and my life coach, and he always describes me as a Malinois, right? Well, Malinois can get themselves into trouble a little bit, right? They don't think, they just do. And yeah, when you're a young cop on the beat, you know, sometimes you take some unnecessary risks, and you gotta literally hurt yourself, have some close calls before you eventually slow down. My entire career, I was told to slow down, and you know, for good reason. I get that. And then later on in my career, I was the one trying to coach the younger guys and gals and try to get them to be a little smarter and to slow down. And then, of course, there's some other zeros out there. We call them heroes and zeros. In every police department, you're going to have heroes and you're going to have zeros. And yeah, I was also out there telling the zeros to stop being freaking zeros. But anyways, it's not about me. My point is, I don't want y'all take this as just police bashing, but you know, you can't. What am I supposed to do? Lie to you and say that what you saw here was great? Because it wasn't. Let's get into the comments while we have a little bit of time. Excuse me, I'm dying of, I'm not trying to cough in y'all's ear. I've had a fever the last couple days, and just trying my best, baby. Working through it. I had 102 plus fever yesterday. We were doing it live anyways. I don't think I have a fever today. Oh, look, Ryan Blackhawk said in 2023, every police officer in Homerville, Georgia quit the department. I don't think that's just hearsay. I think Ryan is 100% accurate. You guys can look it up yourself. This is just one isolated incident. There is a ton of drama in this police department. That department's completely broken, and hearing as to why, it's not like, it wasn't like the chief was dirty or anything. I mean, I don't know, but that department went through like multiple chiefs in 1 year. But my understanding is that the city council is all jacked up. I mean, corrupt, just stupid, not to make this a political thing, but very left-leaning, very liberal, and just bad from the top down. And anyways, but yeah, that department's got some issues. Anything else stick out to you? Or maybe my mods can kind of pin something. There's a lot of comments here, and I'm trying to catch up. Police in the U.S. resemble an occupying force like the Israeli military. I don't agree with that. Charles says you wouldn't want to be in her brain when Jen was talking about, like, she wasn't in the mind of the officer. She doesn't know what she was thinking. It's like, yeah, you probably don't want to be up there. Backup in Alaska is hours away. Yeah, I can imagine. You need a freaking snow plow and a snowmobile to get you back up. Let me know if you see any good comments.
Yeah.
Pinch Runner had something here, something about his alive, his dog is alive. So I'd like to see further up what that's about. Maybe Pinch, you can repost it. It's hard to scroll up and catch up. You know what, I'm seeing some likes and hearts and celebrations come in. Y'all could do us a big favor. If you're not already subscribed, throw some likes, throw some hearts. Let me feel the love. And again, if you're not already subscribed, check out the other channel, baby. Now's the time. We're going to be posting a lot more. Like, it seems like you all like these things. You like the lives, you like the breakdowns, you like to hear a little bit of expert opinion, if you will, reaching out to folks like Jen, my father, other police canine handlers, supervisors, to really give you their real, raw, honest opinion. You know, there's a lot of talking heads on the news, but they're reporters, you know, broadcasters, talking heads. They're not police officers. They weren't on the street. They don't know what they're talking about. Of course, they can give their opinion, but, you know, what you're not going to see me doing necessarily is weighing in on, I don't know, like a botched surgery. I don't know nothing about surgeries. I'm not a medical doctor. Anything you see, man?
No.
Spider's doing a horrible job. Great production manager. Not great at the comment section. So if you got something, post it. I'm going to try to catch up. Thank you, Alex Tormasi. He's one of our great mods. He was able to post our second channel. Feel free to bang that again. Kathy says, thanks for making the last part of the workday go fast. Thank you. I think there's actually a way that I can share these chats more easily. I'm still kind of a rookie at lives, so bear with me. What is this? Moderation activity. Oh, okay, there you go. That helps a little bit. All right, let's get back in here. No verdict yet. The jury went home for the day. Man, this is getting crazy. The person who posted that, Rassler's mom, can you tell me, like, what are we on, like, how many hours into deliberation
10.
are we? Only
10 hours.
That's it? Nah, it's more
10
than
hours
10,
of
bro.
deliberation.
Oh, because they're like short days?
Yes. Yeah.
So combining, because they've been in deliberation since what, Tuesday?
It's day 3 of deliberation, 10 hours total.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So what are they getting, like
Yeah, like 3 hours a
3
day.
plus hours a day?
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of, I know they cut it early at like 4 p.m. the other day. They've been cutting it early, but
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's been staying cut early like pretty much every day.
all right, so that makes me feel a little better. Even though it's 3 days, it's only 10 hours. And I remember on Melanie Little's show, big shout out to attorney Melanie Little. I know she's been pushing our channel, and we're happy to push back. It's not push back, but also cross promote. She's doing a great job with the Karen Reed case. If you haven't been following on, check her out. Maybe someone can tag her in the description here or in the comments. You can guys check her out. Maybe do her I think it's at attorney Melanie Little. She had on her program today that someone basically looked at the OJ trial, looked at the, maybe y'all can name it, someone can do it here on our channel. It's really cool to look back in the past, some of the bigger trials, nationwide trials, and how long the juries deliberated. Like for instance, the OJ trial, I think it was like a 2 or 4 hour deliberation, very short. What was the gentleman, George Zimmerman? I think the George Zimmerman trial, whatever, y'all can post, was like 8 or 10 hours. Who's the gentleman that was like a protester or was at a protest with a rifle, the young kid? Kyle Rittenhouse, same thing, you know. They posted all of them, like the Michael Jackson trial, all these different trials, and kind of put them together, and they were anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours up to like 20 plus hours. So yeah, if we're at around 10 hours, it's nothing too crazy yet.
10 hours, though, of figuring out that decision is kind of crazy.
I agree. You know, 10 hours trying to figure that out, like.
If they haven't seen it, they
Bro,
can
I
check out the
have
live from
spent more
yesterday.
time. I have been more, you know, confused and deliberate on my thoughts when it comes to my wife asking me what I want for dinner than I have been about this case. I've put more thought into what I want for dinner than I have in the Karen Reed case. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't researched. I'm talking, I've watched and I've seen almost all of the testimony. I listen to it as a podcast. I listen to it at the gym. And I go back and watch it. So I'm very well versed in the case, very well versed. Folks like attorney Melanie Little, folks like Sean McDonough, check him out. Might be butchering his last name, the retired DEA agent. You can check him out. It's S.A.M. McDonough. He's been following the case closely, but I mean, I'm fairly well versed in it. And but yeah, you give me about, like, literally I'll think longer tonight about like what I want to eat for dinner than I would about, you know, my thoughts on the Karen Reed trial and like guilty, not guilty. Ask me, actually, do I think she's guilty or not guilty?
What do you think?
What do I think? What?
Is she guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. Ask me what I want for dinner.
What do you want for dinner?
That is actually a good question. So now I got to think about it. So I got to think about, like, what do we have in the freezer? You know, what are we going to defrost? Do I want Mexican? What did I have the other day? What's going to be healthy? So, you know, I don't know. I had chicken wings the other day. It's not really up to me. It's up to the wife. You know, she's in charge. My wife cooks. Oh boy. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can't make a decision.
Yeah. I mean, that story was summarized to me in about an hour, and I made my decision after that time. Oh, if they haven't seen that live, they can check it out on the channel live.
Sean A. McDonough. They want to know what my favorite dinner plan is. What I mean, it's when I get boring with that, but I like everything. I like steak a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I like a little bit of everything. Been trying to eat healthy. Hey, you know, for those of you who've been paying attention, I lost a little bit of weight. Still on the plan. When I first probably started this channel, I was like 235, maybe even 240, man. You know, heavyweight. I look back at some of the videos. We're going to be watching a video today, and I was like, look how fat I am in that video. I said it a little more uncouth than that. I said, I look like a fat ass. It's probably like 235, 240. And now I'm down to 205. I've been at 210 for a while, and then I got sick. You want to lose some weight? I've been able to lose an extra 4 or 5 pounds just by being sick the last like week or two. And that's after coming back. I went on a little vacation with a family in Mexico. But hey, I got to be proud of myself, man. I actually hit the gym pretty much every day. Watched my eating, and, you know, because I'm on a mission, by the way, I just want to get under 200. That's all. And then we'll see from there, how much more I may or may not want to lose. But I think if I can get under 200, I'll be where I want to be. So, yeah, you all know the struggle is real. It ain't easy. All right. I got to see a Bork get his nom. I hear you, Murder Dozer. That's what this channel is all about. Or at least that's what the second channel is going to be a lot about. A lot of bark nom noms going on. A lot of police canine deployments. We have a ton in the queue. Trying to do maybe one a week, you know what I mean? On top of the podcast, that's what that second channel is going to be about. It's going to be podcast interviews. We're trying to get, y'all got to go bother Sean. Let Sean know he's exactly the type of, like the archetype of person we'd like to have on the podcast, a guy with 35 years experience in the jungles of South America as a DEA agent, going undercover, a supervisor. You know my man's got some stories. And we want to get him here and get the raw, unfiltered stories. How'd you get involved in law enforcement? What kind of crazy stuff did you see down in Colombia or wherever it was you were deployed to? And you spend 35 years in the DEA, you got to have some stories to share with us. And then, of course, we can dive in a little bit on that Karen Read while he's here, if that's still fresh. Problem is we don't do any half-ass podcasts virtually. This is a legit podcast. I'm not shitting on anybody, but we put in a lot of time and effort with the lighting, with the mics, with everything to set up the studio so that it could be as visually and audibly appealing as possible. And I think something's lost a little bit in the virtual version of it. I mean, I've done virtual ones, like as a guest, but for our podcast, we're really trying to have the highest production quality available. And if y'all haven't seen the little teasers, the quality, baby. We're talking multiple camera angles and all the good stuff. So, what's the best city in Florida for you? I don't know. Fort Lauderdale's pretty cool. I grew up my whole life, 40 years I spent in South Florida. So between Boca, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami, Fort Lauderdale's all right, All right, here we go. Swen Diggs got the math. Michael Jackson's trial was 32 hours, found not guilty. Jody Aris, 15 hours, guilty. Alex Murda, I don't know that case, 4 hours, guilty. Rob Durst, 7 hours, guilty. Derek Chauvin, that's a good one, 10 hours, guilty. Daryl Brooks, 3 hours, guilty. So you're almost arguing the longer it goes on, the bigger chance of it being not guilty. Or at least like it's going to be a hung jury like at some point, right? Charles Valkyrie says, did I drink the water? What water are we talking about? The Karen Read water? Anybody else? Any other good stuff? Chelsea, are you able to pin comments and scroll up?
No, not on chat.
Okay. Barnes asking, listen to me talking here. Officers should be very physically fit and have training to control people, but everyone loses some of that with age. Yes. So how would you deal with that if you have a good officer but not as fit anymore? Look, by then, you're hoping that officer's been on long enough. They're older. You got to use your wits. That's why we do have tools, But a lot of times, as you get older, you're able to advance in your career, become a supervisor, a lieutenant, right? I retired as a lieutenant. It's fairly young for a lieutenant, but, you could be, and I was only a lieutenant. You could have been a captain, commander, major, assistant chief, chief of police. So you're hoping if you've been on 15 or 20 years, you've been able to rise to the ranks. Now, there's some folks out there that either don't want anything to do with that. Like my father, I don't think ever took a promotional exam. I think Jennifer maybe also same thing. They just no interest in being a supervisor, just wanted to work the street. My father was, I think, total like 35 plus years in law enforcement combined between the couple of agencies that he worked at. Like I think 32 years with the city of Miami, and in 32 years never took a promotional exam, never wanted to. The closest thing he was to like a supervisor was a canine trainer, and even that he didn't like, I don't know, telling people what to do, I guess, or whatever. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he just wanted to work. The higher you go, the less you're on the street, right? You're more supervising. You're behind the desk. You're pushing papers. As a lieutenant, you're definitely not on the street. And in fact, it's not saying you can't go hands-on. As a sergeant, you can definitely be out there with the boys and the girls, and you have to be out there. As a lieutenant, you also want to be out there, but again, you're just one more step removed from the street. If the lieutenant is going hands-on with the subject, if the lieutenant's deploying his taser, if the lieutenant's getting in a fist fight, well, then who's commanding the scene? Is kind of what ends up happening. So you have to, it's very hard as you adjust into those roles, as you go through the ranks, to not put yourself in a scenario to literally get your hands tied up going. Now, I'm not saying if push comes to shove, you don't do what you got to do. Absolutely you do. But generally speaking, you don't put yourself in that situation. Here's a perfect example. As a lieutenant and as a sergeant, many, many, many times, I was the incident commander of big canine deployments, meaning the SWAT's deployed, multiple dogs on the ground, 2, 4, 6, 8+ dogs at a time, multi-agency, blah, 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 blah. I would love nothing more. If you could just wave the magic wand and just put me in a position, I can get down as specific as this. I just want to be a canine handler in the backyard. Or a backup. I'll be a backup. I don't care. Or a supervisor, but in the yard with the dog. That's it. That's not work to me. That's just a dream. But I can't be an incident commander of the whole incident. I can't keep track of all the boots on the ground, where the dogs are, call in reinforcements, work the board, work the radio, do what I got to do from the backyard. It's just not safe. It's not practical. It's stupid. I have to be removed, literally a half a block away from where the action is. It sucks. Like, even when you set up the command post, you have to think strategically. You want the command post to be as close as possible that you can kind of like have an idea what's going on. Yeah, but you also got to be far enough removed that you don't accidentally get like, you can't get on the radio and deploy resources when bullets are whizzing over your head. You know what I mean? It's not ideal. So typically your command post is like close enough to see what's going on, but far enough removed. And it sucks. It's like, it sucks to be at the command post. I mean, you can help, but it's not fun being there. So like, to answer your question, when you're getting older, you should be finding yourself in different career paths, whether you're rising through the ranks, or you can be a detective, right? Detectives typically, I mean, you can really tell what that officer's daily duties are when you look at their gun belt. So a street cop's going to have all kinds of gear on them. A SWAT officer is going to have all that gear and then some. Canine officer, same thing. Your basic gear that a street officer would wear, and then all kinds of extra gizmos and gadgets. But when you start taking a different career path, like becoming a homicide investigator, you name it, homicide investigators are wearing suits to work, literally, suits. Down in South Florida, they were able to wear guayaberas. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Guayabera, yeah. I mean, that's like...
All right, let me try my guayabera.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you say it?
With a B instead of a V.
Guayabera?
Yeah.
All right. Say it again for the folks.
It's pronounced guayabera.
Oh, it sounds so nice when he says it. Anyways, which is like a button-up shirt that kind of keeps you cool, but with like professional-looking slacks. And then, but more importantly, like, what tools do they have on them? Literally a gun, sometimes not even a full-size gun. They have like a more of a lighter weight gun, more of a compact, subcompact gun on them, and a badge, and hopefully at least one extra mag. Sometimes they won't even sport the extra mag, meaning like they're not, they probably don't have handcuffs on them, but they're typically not looking to get into a fist fight or a car chase or a shooting, because they're really like behind a desk. They're responding to scenes after the fact. Now, I'm not saying detectives don't get involved in some stuff, or that there's some detectives out there who aren't very tactically inclined, but generally speaking, like, you could just, if you look at him, if you were to have a homicide investigator sitting here, you barely tell he's a police officer, right? Because it's just wearing like a business outfit, and maybe the gun's even concealed, an ankle gun. But yeah, if you're not physically fit, or you put in your time on the street, then yeah, you take a break, man. Go. Not that saying detective work's easy, but it's definitely very, very different type of work. Like you heard it from Jennifer, spent her entire career on the street, never worked behind the desk, was never pushing papers. But good question. I like that one. All right, we're going to end this here, and I'll take maybe one more question, we'll call it. We're going to close this one out. Again, I want to thank you all for joining us. We'll kind of discuss one more thing. Spider, once again, we got to call it at some point. I actually got some dogs I got to train. And you might be saying, Gary, you're supposed to be training dogs. Not in this heat, baby. We train early morning, late afternoon when the sun, you know, when it's not cooking out there. So yeah, maybe we'll even do a live later training the dog. Actually, if you haven't already, check out our membership at DIYcanine.com. And once a month, I do a live Q&A answering all dog training related questions. And tomorrow and Saturday, we're actually doing a live dog training demonstration. That's only for our DIY Canine members. You know where to find it. Our premium membership, we meet once a week. It's a much more intimate, smaller, tighter group. We get very involved. We do Zoom meetings, so it's face-to-face, answering all your questions, diving in deep. On the monthly membership, it's once a month. We answer same questions. It's a little less intimate because it's a larger group, but we still answer every question. So if you really got some hot, burning dog training questions, that's where you got to join us. By the way, those memberships come with a ton of other perks, but highly recommend you check that out. And then let me also plug this. If you're not already, you got to subscribe to this channel. If you're not already, subscribe to our second channel. Post in the comments below what else you want to see. Again, we're going to start getting more and more guests on. Let us know what guests you want to have on. Let us know if you see any crazy police incidents. Tag me in them. Email them to our team, info@DIYcanine. Hit us up on Instagram. Send us a DM saying, hey, if you hadn't checked this out, you got to check out this video. We're looking for shootings for sure. Any kind of police canine deployment, whether it's good, bad, ugly, scary, whatever, because we're going to be doing a ton more of those. Like, this is what I do even when I'm not doing it in front of the camera. It's just what I look at. I just love checking these crazy videos out. Just love, can't get enough of it. What's crazy is when we were... I lived, even while I was a police officer, you know, we're making a lot of money when you first start out, so I still lived at home with my father Gordon and my stepmother Jennifer. So all three of us constantly, you know, we're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, all of us. And when we'd come back home and like watching dinner, you know what we would do, bro? Guess what was on the TV? What? Guess what three cops would be watching?
Police reaction videos.
Well, no, not back then. They didn't really have police reaction videos. Cops. Like nonstop on the TiVo or DVR. Yeah. Cops. So, like, what was wrong with us? We just literally eat, sleep, and breathe it. And probably do our own reaction videos. Be watching like, wow, that was amazing. Or like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. You know, so we were kind of doing our own in the living room. Like, now that I think on it, we go back over 20 years I've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? And this is what we would do. That's all I'm getting at. Is like, I'm not trying to put on fronts or anything. This is what we do. Is that, oh, we just finally said, well, I'll just put a camera on us and actually do it together. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us. Anybody that's new, really appreciate you coming on over. We're going to have a ton more like this because, you know, I just hit a point in my career here where it's like, I love training dogs. I'll still do that. But there's more to life than just training dogs. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I think that's a wrap, baby. That's a wrap. So check that out. And thank you all again. I think we'll end it here. Really appreciate you watching. Subscribe to the second channel. Subscribe to our main channel. Check out DIYcanine.com for all your dog training needs. Check out the membership. I want to thank you all very much again. Make sure to check out attorney Melanie Little's channel. Make sure to check out Sean McDonough's channel. Dylan, someone can maybe post his channel here. Dylan had me on his show. And plenty more coming your way. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much again. We'll see you on the next one. Time to go train dogs now.